Welcome to Kelly Media Reviews.
And I'm MK.
And I'm FK.
And today we're going to be reviewing the Shahrazad Ali.
How Feminism Destroyed the Black Community.
Let's get into it.
My position is that the black woman's disrespect and rebellion against the leadership and the authority of the black man is the direct cause of the breakdown in our black family structure. Now, of course, there are many black people who consider those fighting words because as black women, we have never been subject to the kind of examination that our men have been subject to since we have been here. We have been somewhat protected and shielded from any kind of critiquing about our personal behavior, whereas our men have always been up for examination. The book.
Oh, wow. What do you think about that starting out?
I believe as black women, we are more privileged than the black man when it comes to criticism. I believe that women are sheltered just because of the fact that we are a woman and we do create life. So in regards to her statements about we're not used to being critiqued, I have to agree with her.
Yeah, I definitely agree to that as well, because it's like you can't tell women anything. Women just go crazy whenever you try to tell them stuff. That's why men don't say much, and then women say men don't share their feelings and emotions, but women don't take the kind of criticism that they give out at all, seems like.
I agree.
Let's get back to it.
Let's get into it.
It's not an attack on black women. I have never said that all black women do everything that I list in my book. None of us have lived long enough to do everything that I list in the book, but most of us do some of the things that I've listed in my book. And I do say that it is not because of generalizations that we are all victimized by some of the negative patterns of behavior in the book, but the book just represents our collective contribution. This is some of everything that we have done, or that we do daily, that contributes to the breakup of our relationship, the destruction of our man, and the failure of our children to be able to function. They did not tell us that all of that, being my own person and I'm independent, would lead to separation, loneliness, celibacy, and lesbianism.
Oh, wow.
They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's work.
Wow. So she said that they didn't tell y'all that all that strong woman stuff is going to lead to being alone. And I mean, I don't know. You don't hear stuff like that. You think women think about that kind of stuff, you know, while they out there in the world practicing being independent women?
I don't think that black women think about that, and I believe because we have been conditioned by our grandmothers, by our mothers, by our great-great-grandmothers, and by just women in general telling us do not depend on a man, depend on yourself, because when you depend on yourself, you don't have to worry about anything failing you.
Right, that's true. That's true. I can understand that mind state, but it doesn't make sense though, because if you think about it, our parents and grandparents were married and they wasn't independent women. They had husbands and relationships, and you know, if they wasn't married, they had long-term relationships. Everybody didn't believe in marriage, but you know, people stuck together. So, you know, where do you even think this even come from? Because how does feminism have to do with anything with black women? Like, it seems like it's a white woman's fight.
I think because the idea of us coming from slavery, I think it's a mental enslaved mentality up here. And even though some of our grandmothers were married, and yes, some of our mothers were married, the average household was mother only. So a lot of the women didn't actually stay with the men, or the men wasn't that right for them. And so they probably were somebody who had to depend on themselves.
Okay.
And I believe that that's been promoted because, you know, when you think about it, it's just to break us up. And I don't think we quite caught that whenever that was happening back in the 60s. So even though what you're saying is 100% correct, I do feel like it's been an agenda that has been pushed, and we have been.
Duped.
I guess we pretty much went
Been
right
duped.
along with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. It's just kind of crazy though, you know. It doesn't. I mean, it makes sense what you're saying, but it doesn't make sense how it happened to us. Like, you know, because even after slavery, you know, we talk about like Black Wall Street and stuff like that. That era, we were strongest as we ever been in the 1920s. Like, you know, we were still 8 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? People were married in that time, you know? So it really seems like it was something that was kind of pushed into the civil rights kind of movement. Like they just kind of took over the civil rights thing and made it about, you know, where women feel like, why did women need to be liberated in the first place? You know, like if you think about that, like in a family structure, you know, like if I win, we all win. You know what I'm saying? Like I go out, I work, pay the bills. Why would you need to be free from that?
Well, like you said, you know, feminism started in the 1900s, the early 1900s, I say 1915, 1920. The civil rights movement started in, I guess about, we can say like what, 1964, the civil rights movement of 1964.
65,
So
yeah.
if you think about the 60s, that's when things started going downhill because of the fact that feminism came into play into the civil rights movement. So therefore, that's why it became a big deal on us, because we were easy targets. They were killing our black men, so it was easily to target us. And I think that's how that came about.
I get it. Makes sense. Makes sense. Let's well, let's get back into it.
Worse, and it will destroy your nation. They didn't give us that information. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man. I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man.
She's going in.
Yeah, we have
She
some
going in,
serious
y'all.
relationship problems that nobody has been able to address us on because everybody wants to pretend that this is not going on. You know, over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man. I just came out of Florida and they got a housing complex that the Urban League built, which is a black organization that is for women and children only. They say they don't allow any men in there. I didn't have time to deal with it, but I talked about them real bad. That's the silliest program I've ever heard.
Fair use, fair use.
You know the women that had men that they
Fair
got a bunch of
use.
children. They need fathers. They need protection. We hear about the drug problem that we have in our projects across the country. It's one of the major places that we have a drug problem. You know, we talk about the great strength that we have as black women. Well, the welfare department don't rent government apartments to single black men. Those apartments belong to black women who are allowing this to go on in their home.
Whoa. So that's like no accountability. Like if the men aren't allowed to live there, but that's where most of the crime and stuff is at. That seems like where does feminism work at? You know, like what do they do? You know, because if the women are getting everything, they getting their rights, they getting their freedom, they liberated from men, they don't need men anymore. Mm-hmm. That means that they majority are the ones who getting all the help, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So they're getting the help, but if you look into these inner city communities, the urban environments, you know, where most of us have to stay, you see a lot of single woman households, you know, single mother households, rather, right? How we have so much crime over there? Is it their sons doing it, or is it their boyfriends doing it?
These kids are acting off of what they see, so therefore it's something that they are seeing. So if it is their fathers, a woman is still raising those fathers that us black women are choosing, and we have to actually hold ourselves accountable for that.
Okay.
So I believe that it's a system breakdown in the, what's the word for it? Like they're giving a woman everything so that the man so they're destroying the man, like, and we're not really seeing the bigger picture of what they're really doing to us because we're already receiving. So if women are receiving, they don't really care about the agenda
can't
that's
really see
being
what's
pushed.
going
They can't
on.
see what's really right.
Because they getting everything that they need, so
Right.
they blind to the fact. So it's like you turn your kind of like turn a blind eye,
Right.
to like what's really going on.
Right.
Because they benefiting from it.
Right. So they're not
They
seeing it
benefit
because
from the
they
drug
get some.
dealers and
Right.
okay, it makes sense. And they getting a check from the government, and they getting the housing to go with it. So yeah.
So the setup is that I think the fact that they're selling drugs and then they be the ones that go to jail, and then like now our kids are left without
Fathers.
So it's the setup that we're not actually seeing.
Right.
It's a bigger picture.
I guess that's why they call it a project.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Ooh, she's like dropping some jewels though.
Definitely.
Yeah, let's get back into it.
We have not looked at what part of the responsibility do we share. Yes, black men sell a lot of drugs, and a lot of us black women get the money from them drugs and buy some of these fancy clothes we wear. Drive around in some of these fancy cars. He is not doing these things alone and without support from us, whether they are good or bad. See, we have a lot of power. We are very strong women. I'm saying that we're using our strength in the wrong direction. We're using it to tear our man down, tear our nation down instead of building it up.
Wow.
Having an education and a job does not necessarily mean you have a successful life. I keep telling black women that to raise a child, they say, well, I provided with food, clothing, and shelter. That's not raising a child, that's maintaining one. To raise a child, you need a parental coalition of a man and a woman. We have sons who, by not having a father in the home, they don't know how to respect women. They take on black feminine female emotionalism. They're doubtful, they're indecisive, they can't make a decision. They don't know what to do about being a man, but we can't teach them that. We don't have that knowledge. We have daughters who grow up in a home where they don't see any affection.
She's going in. She going in.
She hit a lot of good points.
She hit a lot of good points. Wow, where is this woman at? We need her to come lead the community.
I think that's why she was so controversial, because she said the things that we needed to hear.
Right.
I think the one main thing that she mentioned to me, the first point, was when she talked about that we as black women, we are accepting the drugs, we are accepting the bags, we are accepting the fancy cars. I feel like, just like we was talking about accountability, I feel like us as black women, we want the thugs. Like, it's so many videos out here where women are saying, yeah, I want the thug over a doctor or a lawyer or the nice guy, and they want those things, and what come with those fancy things come jail time, come broken homes, come sons who fall into that path, comes daughters who decide, or little girls who decide that that's the man that they should have. So when she said that we're using our strength in the wrong reasons, for the wrong reasons, I believe we are strong, but I also believe that we are, it's the true factor that we're using our strength in the wrong reason.
In the wrong way.
In the wrong way.
Gotcha. That makes sense. This makes sense. Wow. But she said a lot. She said a mouthful. And my opinion on it, she's hitting it right on the nose. Like, I think that if we could keep our homes together and stop making baby mamas and baby daddies out here, and be more focused on community building and building ourselves up to our highest value, we'll have less of all that going on, get our kids away from the TV.
Right.
Get our kids away from the radio with the rap music and all the poison that's out there that's telling you to go out and do these crazy things that they're doing. And then, I always wondered growing up, you see the women who always want to be pro-woman, right? But then you see them shaking their ass to some ratchet music, and it's like you have to pick one. You can't be ratchet and classy at the same time. You have to pick one. You know what I'm saying? Out in the world don't want to have to choose between, am I going to choose her because she's ratchet or because she's nice, or and rap music do it too. Rap music say I want a lady in the streets and I want a freak in the sheets. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when we put these demands out there, the other party don't know how to respond to them properly, or don't know the balance between what we're actually asking for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like men don't want to just look around and see sex everywhere they look. You know what I'm saying? Don't turn yourself into a piece of meat. And then now, if I come get you pregnant, I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? We both wrong, but who gonna be accountable for it? She gonna be stuck with that baby. I can go and come as I please, but she gonna be stuck with that baby. So we have to grow up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I agree 100%. We have to, as both parties, we have to be held accountable for what we're doing.
Right.
You know, and we have to really put the focus on that we are the mothers and we are the women and we are the carriers. So since we are the carriers, we have to be careful about who we let carry us or what we let carry. And I also want to make another point about when she talked about just because you have a good career or just because you have a good job doesn't mean that.
What does it take you from not having a man?
I guess it you know, the independence, and I'm better kind of in the sense like with the women, like us having our rights. So I don't really see a need for feminine, because it's to me, in my opinion, I feel like we have received a lot of what we couldn't receive.
Right.
You know, a lot of people are homeowners now. A lot of women are bosses now and own businesses. Yep. You know, a lot of women are doing it, educated. Like oh my gosh, like it's a lot of things that women are able to really live in. Right. So I feel like feminism now, or feminism period, was created to destroy the sexes apart. I'm just being honest with the way I see it, because the independence is being taken to a whole nother level. Right. Like the women are really bossed up and they already have what they have, and now they want a man to
come and make it better.
I don't know what a man can do. He might can compete.
What is a man's role now with feminism? Like, what is a man supposed to do?
Right, it's very hard.
You're already independent. You already got your house, your car, your kids.
Right.
What am I supposed to come and do?
Right.
I'm supposed to come and compete with your baby daddies? Am I supposed to come and take over your bills? And like, what am I supposed to do when you already got it all?
And you say that I don't need a man.
And you don't need me, and you got it all. I don't fit.
It's hard to decide.
It looks like we just supposed to be fucking. Because where do I fit as a husband? Or, you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As your man, your significant other, if you don't need me, if you already got whatever you got. I mean, we can't build together. I can't build to you if you already got what you need.
And you're not willing to let it go.
Either I'm gonna come save the day, or I'm gonna just come around and we gonna just hang out, quote unquote.
Right.
You know?
I agree.
Well, this is a good video. I think we go ahead and wrap this video up.
Okay.
I want to thank y'all for watching us. It's our first YouTube video together. Please hit the like, subscribe, share the video. Okay.
Get us to 1,000 subscribers so we can start live streaming and we can give you guys more content, more reliable content. And that's what our focus is. Our focus is to make relationships better, to bring awareness to the communities, especially the Black community, because we are suffering. We are suffering hard. And we wanted to review this video because even though she made this video so long ago, I still see that we are still struggling with the same things today in 2021. So thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate it. Anything else you would like to say, man?
I think you spoke well. So till next time, YouTube, we'll see you later. Peace out.